I know. Well, thanks for agreeing to come on and share your story with everyone. Not too long
Absolutely.
ago, you were the one tuning into this masterclass, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was on the master class that was in, I think it was November. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I kind of joined. You know, I had tried things like trying to solve the problem myself. Backing up, as you mentioned, I'm a mom of two. Um, One of those children was born during COVID. So, um, I kind of I think you put it really well on my first meeting with you. My style just kind of atrophied. And what I was kind of gravitating towards is just all sweatpants and sweatshirt and flannel shirt and just really kind of more on the casual end. And so last last January, I said, okay, I'm going to do something about this and try to, address this. And so I tried going to M.M.LaFleur, which, no knock against M.M.LaFleur. But, I went in and I felt more like it was more of a sales pitch. I said, I want a capsule wardrobe for for someone that's my size. And the pieces that they gave didn't really fit very well when I got them, when they got delivered, and you can't return them that easily that way. So it was just, it wasn't the best solution for me. And I heard about you, and I thought, okay, well, let me see what this class is about. So I did that, and I was just so wowed by you, and I was like, this is something I want to invest in for myself. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for sharing. And then you had also tried Stitch Fix too, right? How was that
I
experience?
did. It was not great. I mean, I don't know if anyone did Stitch Fix like 10 years ago, but it was a different experience now versus then. It's much more like cheap stuff, and none of it really fit. Like, didn't fit my body type. It wasn't. It wasn't cohesive. It wasn't like I could go and pull a ton of outfits together from it. So yeah, so that was not a great strategy either. And
Yeah.
what I found is that doing all of these things actually caused me to spend a whole lot of money on things that didn't work for me. So I, kind of thought, well, I should go to the expert and find somebody
Yeah.
to help me. Yeah,
Yeah. And did it feel because you tried a few things, right? Like I'm sure you tried shopping on your own, you tried the MM LaFleur box, you tried Stitch Fix. Did it feel a bit disheartening after a while because you were trying, and nothing was working out?
it made me feel terrible, like even worse about my body than I already felt. And it made me convinced that there was going to be no clothes that would fit me. I mean, quite honestly, I remember in the chat, my first during the class, I wrote, is there really clothes that will fit me somewhere that are like professional clothes? Because I just didn't think that those existed.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought, well, she's got her work cut out for her. I don't know if she's actually going to be able to do it.
Oh, we did it. We did
We
it.
did.
We
We
did it.
did.
Oh my gosh. So talk to me about what because a lot of women that are tuning in they've never worked with a stylist or spent this much money on themselves. So it can be very scary and I recognize that. Can you share with them what made you decide to do it? What made you decide to take the leap?
Yeah, so I'm at a point. Well, so first of all, I had just absolutely no clue what to do. Like I didn't know where to shop. I was buying all these clothes, and none of them fit me very well. And I was spending all this money, and I had this closet that was growing because it hadn't been culled. I hadn't gone through it since like before COVID. Um, and so, yeah, so I was buying all of these things and none of them fit. And it was just like kind of reinforcing the negative feelings about myself. Um, it kind of made me feel really hopeless, I think was the word that I used a lot when we
Mm,
first met. And so yeah, it was disheartening. It was expensive to do it that way. And it was frankly a lot of time. Like it's a lot of time to sit there on the computer and try to figure out because I was too nervous to go into the store. It was
Yep.
like I was it was a lot of time to like go through and sort through and filter and try to figure out what might work for me. And my time also is like money, right? So
Yep.
it was just not an efficient use of my time or myself uh, to go through that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And then talk to me about, oh, there's so many things I want to ask you, but the first thing that comes to mind is, so you signed on for the virtual personal styling service, and now that you've gone through it, what were kind of some big surprises for you throughout the process? Did anything come up, anything stand out to you?
Yeah, so, I would say a couple things. So, I was so nervous my first call with you. I was so nervous. I don't know if it came through, but I was so nervous. We go through, for those who haven't done the service, you go and you kinda try on everything in your closet. And I was like, "This is my worst nightmare." I have someone that is, in fashion industry, and I am standing in front of my laptop and I'm trying on my clothes, and she's looking at every single angle at how something fits. And I was so nervous, and you made me feel so comfortable. And you didn't make me feel like this was something that you couldn't help me with. It was like um, just very kind of encouraging, I guess is the right word. And that was a real I would say that's like one big surprise, one sort of takeaway that I had. Um, I think another thing is that my expectations for clothing and my style have elevated substantially. So before we worked together, it was like, okay, is this thing on sale? Because I don't want to spend too much money, with I should save the money for the kids and all of that. So was it on sale and could it like technically fit me versus like is this the quality garment, are the is the weight the right weight for me of the fabric, is it is it something that is going to last, all of those things. Like I look for I haven't had to shop since we worked together, but those are things I will look for in the future. um you know it just sort of my elevated expectation, I would say, or something
Yeah.
that I was really surprised by. And then, the other thing I would say is just it sounds a little cliche probably, but your system really works. Like it was I signed on a little early to the call and I mentioned someone saying I'm missing the basics. That's exactly what was wrong with my closet. I thought I had basics. I did not.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can really kind of go into my closet and it's like doop, 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 and I just pick, like I spend 3 or 4 minutes picking out my outfit, and at max, if that. And usually it's less. And then I go about my day. And that's just really kind of magical that, that I'm able to do that now.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. I know Katie had traveled for a work trip to Phoenix
Yes,
recently. And when we caught up last time, you had shared, it was easy for you to pack, you knew
yep,
exactly what to wear, and you felt
yep,
really good in it,
yes.
right?
I did. I took selfies and sent
Oh,
them to
you
you.
did. I think you said, I never take selfies, but here are my selfies. I was like, yes, we're at the selfie stage now. And
Exactly.
Katie, how would you describe if you had to so pick a word for your style pre NLW, pick a word for your style post NLW. What are those two words that come to mind?
So pre NLW, I would say the best word is lost.
Mm,
I just had no idea and was just floundering. Post NLW, I think the word is confident and a little and joy. I think that's another thing that I took away from this is I actually have enjoyed kind of like the idea of just browsing for clothes. Now I don't need anything,
mhm.
but um, it's kind of exciting because I used to love to shop. Before law school, I was between 4 and 6 sizes smaller. And since having kids and so it's the shopping, the joy of shopping had kind of gone away, and
Yeah.
it's back now, and I
Yeah.
have you to thank for that. So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was such a joy to see you blossom in your journey. And I'll never forget on Katie's graduation call, I had asked you, what was your biggest takeaway? And you were like, you made shopping like fun again for me and style fun again
yeah,
for me. And that was like, I could have started crying, but I was like, hold it together, hold it together. Because for our curvy clients, it is such a struggle, and the fashion industry doesn't speak to you,
yeah,
want to speak to you, sell to you,
mhm,
or anything. And so it is like really my personal mission and stylist Lucia's personal mission to make it extra special for you too.
and you did.
Yeah.
So if anyone is on the fence, it's an investment in yourself, and it's really like um, a life change. It really is. Um, I felt like I was sort of I was stuck. I was for sure stuck, and I'm no longer stuck, and that's just such a wonderful feeling. Um,
Yeah.
uh, to not dread looking at my closet and being like, "Oh, what am I going to try to put on today that'll work?"
Right. Yeah. And now you can go after those professional pursuits,
Uh,
personal pursuits outside of your closet because you're
that's right.
saving all that time now.
That's right. Exactly. No, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, now I know, like, what brands to look for. Like, that's
Yep.
something that I had no idea. Um,
Mhm,
so I
mhm.
have all the tools now that I can for the future.